An anime begins with Hao, a little boy, enjoying a peaceful day at the playground with his mother. But that calm moment shatters when the sky above them suddenly splits open, and before Hao can even understand what is happening, strange level numbers begin appearing above everyone's heads. Then, from inside the portal, a terrifying level 55 monster begins crawling out, ready to wipe out humans like insects. The moment that terrifying insect-like creature lands, it swings just one arm and brings an entire apartment building crashing down in seconds. Then it summons its minions so they can kill even more people. Hao's mother immediately grabs her children and tries to take them somewhere safe, while broken buildings keep falling around them like heavy snow and people's screams fill the air. Hao starts shaking, certain that the monster is coming to kill them, but his mother held him close and told him not to be afraid. She made him promise that no matter what happened, he would protect his sister, then told him to close his eyes and be brave because she would protect them now. After that, she stopped hiding, stepped out in the open, and transformed into her fighting costume, shocking the monster so much that it called her a goddess and couldn't believe she was on this planet. Hao's mother fought bravely and gave the monster a real fight, but she knew her current level was not enough to defeat that demon, especially because the monster had come to collect something from her known as the Seal of Divine Intervention. She quickly looked around, searching for a way to protect her children, then showed that item to the demon and flew toward the sky. The creature took the bait and chased her like a mad beast, but that was when it received the biggest shock of its life, because she had already prepared a bomb. At that moment, Hao opened his eyes and saw the sacrifice his mother was about to make to save them. He screamed for her, and she looked at her children one last time with tears in her eyes before the explosion erupted so violently that it carved a massive crater in the middle of the city. But before dying, she had already cast a protective barrier around her children so they wouldn't be swallowed by the blast. A few years pass after that tragedy, and Hao is now sitting in school learning the history of those monsters. It all began in the year 263 AD, when something went wrong in space-time and forcefully pushed Earth into an extra-dimensional mutation. Portals began opening across the planet, allowing monsters to invade and destroy humanity, and nature's answer to this disaster was to turn humans into superhuman beings. Because of that, the 5 strongest people gathered an army to fight the monsters and created a safe zone to protect humanity. But even after all that, the monsters kept attacking again and again. Humanity's final hope was now the students, who needed to level up and become strong enough to fight back. When class ends, Hao is still only level 3, so Fang and his friends start mocking him, even though Fang himself is only 2 levels higher and is clearly annoyed that people still call Hao a genius. Hao tries to ignore them and mind his own business, but Fang decides to get aggressive. Hao dodges a few of his attacks, but the punches keep coming until Fang pushes too far, and before he can continue, Hao's sister Yunfei, who is level 7, kicks him straight into the wall. His friends quickly pick up their leader and run away, cursing Hao and saying he always hides behind his sister. After that, the 2 siblings leave to meet their father and celebrate Hao's 18th birthday. Their father places a cake in front of his son, a cake he learned to make from his late wife, and Hao makes a wish for himself and his family to always stay happy, while also wishing that he could level up with the strongest ability. Right then, the whole place suddenly turns white as if a flash has exploded, but the truth is much worse because a level 12 monster has attacked them. The special police open fire, but every bullet simply bounces off its body. The monster starts killing people until it notices Hao and his family coming out from behind a rock. His father wants them to hide, but it is already too late, so he orders Hao to run away with his sister. Then the man steps forward to fight, revealing himself as a level 9 superhuman, but unfortunately he is far too weak to hurt the creature. The monster smashes him into a concrete block, leaving him unable to continue fighting. Seeing her father like that, Yunfei becomes furious and summons her magical bow to attack, but the demon blocks it easily and knocks her out of the fight before moving forward. Hao can't just stand there and watch, so he blocks the next attack and tells his sister to escape with their father. She wants to support him, but deep down she knows running is the only choice. Meanwhile, the monster insults Hao for being a mere level 3 who dares to stand in front of it, then brutally punches a hole straight through his chest and starts moving toward the girl. Somehow, Hao still has a little life left in him, so he gathers every last bit of strength to stop the monster, but for his effort, he is sent flying and crashes down. Now all he can do is watch helplessly and apologize to his mother in his heart because he failed the only promise he made to her, protecting his sister. But just then a strange energy suddenly travels into his body, and with the help of a secret King of Glory account system, he revives with immense power and 10 seconds of invincibility. Hao immediately pushes the monster back with flame attacks, damaging it badly, but as soon as his timer ends, the creature absorbs life energy from helpless people and levels up, reaching level 15. Hao still has almost no chance, yet he fights back only to get hit by a laser blast that drops his health to 1%. The system warns him that his one-time ultimate mode is ready to use again, so just as the monster is about to finish him, Hao activates it. This time, he becomes completely serious, with no mood left for games. He unleashes a powerful fire move, and the creature becomes confused, wondering how this boy has the aura of Emperor Ralpert. But it never gets the answer, because the next moment it is burned to ash. After defeating the monster, Hao receives a massive amount of experience points, unlocking his inner space for upgrades. The system uses some of those points to heal him, and informs him that he has been chosen through the divine sign. He is now level 12, although his visible stats still show level 3, because whenever he connects with the system using the experience points he gains, it helps him increase his level. Meanwhile, Hao, his sister, and their father are taken to the hospital. Hao enters the room and sees Yunfei begging the doctor to save their father, but the doctor is stone-hearted and demands payment first. Yunfei even offers to sell their house, but the doctor shows no interest and looks at her with hateful eyes before pushing her toward her brother. Hao tells her not to worry, because he will handle it. The level 10 doctor is confused about how Hao recovered so quickly without any treatment, but Hao walks up to him and offers him a magical crystal, hoping it will be enough to pay his father's medical bills. The man can't believe a level 3 kid could defeat a monster and get such a crystal, though he still grabs it immediately and tries to learn more about Hao. Hao tells him there is no need to think too much about it. The doctor then says that treating his father will cost 500,000, while the crystal is only worth 200,000. Hao asks for 3 days, but the greedy doctor gives him only 1 day to arrange the remaining money, otherwise his father's treatment will not begin. Yunfei becomes worried, wondering how they can gather that much money so quickly. But Hao already has a plan. Win the campus dungeon competition happening the next day, because he has heard the prize money is huge. Yunfei gets excited and decides to participate too, but Hao tells her she needs rest because she still hasn't fully recovered. While they are talking, the cunning doctor secretly listens and contacts someone, warning them about Hao's strange behavior. Soon, the day of the competition arrives, and the students gather to hear the announcement. The principal, who is level 11, happily reveals that this year's winner will receive 1 million in prize money, thanks to the Hanmo group sponsoring the event. The eldest daughter of that organization, Kairmo, is also present, searching for talent. She is level 20 and hopes to find 1 or 2 students worth recruiting, because her group specializes in defeating monsters, exploring dungeons, and collecting valuable items and treasure. As soon as the students hear the news, everyone becomes excited. The students become even more excited because joining Hanmo group would be a dream for them, especially since it is ranked among the top 6 hero groups. And then the competition rules are announced. Every participant will be sent into the Shadow Forest dungeon, a dangerous place filled with monsters from level 5 to level 15. They can form teams, but each team cannot have more than 5 members. And at the same time, every team will also be competing against each other. The final boss inside the dungeon is a level 20 monster, and the participants will collect points by killing monsters. One student points out that if they are competing against each other, then it could push students to fight or even kill one another, which feels too extreme. But Kermo calmly tells them that this is the reality of life. Only the strong have the right to survive. She opens the portal, officially starting the competition, and Hao becomes the first person to enter alone without even a second of hesitation, shocking every student watching him. It almost feels like Kermo already knows that Hao defeated the monster from the previous day, and now she is curious to see what he will do next. Fang angrily follows him, hoping the monsters are already beating Hao half to death. But on the other side, Hao has already taken down several weak monsters and collected points. Still, he needs more, so he starts searching for stronger creatures and follows a group of spiders that are returning to their boss. At that moment, a scream for help pulls his attention away, and when he follows the voice, he finds Teen hanging in the air, trapped inside red magical webs, while all her teammates have already abandoned her and run away. Teen promises that if Hao saves her, she will team up with him in the future and help him however she can. Hao tells her to stay calm, then uses his fire magic to burn the webs. As Teen begins to fall, Hao moves forward to catch her, but he accidentally steps on a trap, and because of that, both he and Teen get caught. Right then, a level 16 spider monster appears, ready to swallow its prey. Hao and Teen are not only trapped in the spider webs, they are also tied to each other, so Hao burns the web with fire and frees them, then starts biting through the bindings between them with his teeth. But the spider boss has no plan to let them escape so easily. It attacks again and again, and the real fight finally begins. Both of them barely dodge its strikes while also weakening the silk around them, and using that opening, Hao tears through the web with full force and sends the spider flying with a heavy punch. Teen is stunned after seeing his strength, but the spider is far from happy. It gets back up and starts spamming attacks non-stop. Since Hao's speed and agility have now increased almost 10 times, He easily dodges its hard attacks, and while moving, he also kills the smallest fighters that keep getting in his way. But the monster finds an opening and traps Hao in a tight layer of silk. Hao burns his way out without much trouble and instantly lands an epic final fire slash, finishing the creature on the spot. After killing the monster, Hao receives a large number of points, and the system upgrades the fang dropped by the spider into a weapon that can be used 3 times. After that, Hao allows Teen to come with him, but only on one condition: she must not tell anyone his secret. Teen tells him not to underestimate her abilities just because she is weak in direct combat, because her real specialty is healing people. Meanwhile, in another part of the dungeon, the same guys who abandoned Teen are now being chased by a T-Rex-like demon. The monster attacks one of them and pierces straight through him, killing him instantly. After seeing that, the other 2 keep running until another one gets caught, but at the last second, he uses a teleportation scroll to return to the academy and saves himself. The last guy keeps running until he ends up directly in front of Teen and Hao, begging them to save him. Teen does not want to heal him after what he did to her, but she still feels bad for him, so she starts increasing his health points. Hao tries to stop her, but it is already too late. The monster has returned and is ready to attack. Hao saves her and explains that because she healed that guy, the creature now considers her his teammate too, which means it is also coming after her. The monster starts chasing them. The guy gets free and immediately decides to run away, but Hao follows him like a shadow and grabs him by the neck, stopping him from escaping. Then Hao fires a blast toward the monster and saves Teen. The guy begins apologizing for everything he did, but when it looks like Hao has lowered his guard, the leader suddenly tries to attack him. Hao is far too fast and punches him straight in the face. Because he loses that combat, all his points are transferred to Hao. After that, the guy teleports away from the dungeon and drops his kill dagger behind, which Hao keeps for later. But the monster still isn't defeated. It returns in rage for round 2. Hao summons his weapon and beats the creature down without hesitation, but because the monster is fire-based, it does not die completely, even though it takes heavy damage. According to Hao, the creature has now entered a rage state, making it even harder to kill. He asks Teen if she has any soothing technique that can calm it without causing too much pain, since she is a healer. Teen says she does have a skill like that and agrees to help, but before they can do anything, the monster recovers itself and attacks again. This time, Hao instantly creates a fire barrier and traps himself inside with the creature. His plan is simple: lower the monster's health enough so Teen can use her ability and calm it down. Hao keeps beating the monster until it reaches the right limit, giving Teen the chance to use her power. Because of her ability, the dangerous creature suddenly calms down and transforms into an ugly little baby dragon. But Hao's real goal was only to kill it and take points. Terrified, the baby dragon runs straight to Teen, hoping she will protect it. Teen asks Hao to spare this weird but cute creature, and the monster itself promises that it will give Hao a lot of treasure. Hao does not care about any of that and gets ready to finish it, but at the last moment he stops his attack and tells the dragon to just leave. Even though he does not kill it, he still receives a lot of points for calming the monster. After that, Hao enters his secret system and checks how many experience points he has collected, only to realize that the amount has become huge. Hao decides to unlock the Eye of Truth skill because he feels it will be useful against the final boss. When he returns from the system world, he sees Teen holding a special egg, which she believes is the treasure given by the baby dragon. When Hao scans the egg, its rarity turns out to be 1 in 1,000. The scene then shifts to Kairmo, who is watching from far away as Hao keeps moving forward, and everything she has seen so far has made him even more interesting to her. After that, we see Fang and his party collecting points and enjoying themselves while gathering loot from the map. At this point, Kairmo activates a special mode, allowing all students to see the leaderboard as well as the locations of other teams. One of Fang's ugly one-toothed followers quickly understands that this change was done on purpose to create fights between the students. On the leaderboard, they notice that Hao has already collected a huge number of points, which is perfect for Fang, because he had already planned to team up with another party and take everyone else down. But they still have no idea what kind of monster they are about to provoke. What Fang and his group don't know is that Hao has already become far more overpowered than any of them can imagine, and soon he starts crushing the students who try to steal his points. He forces them to quit the competition, and as a result, all their points transfer to Hao and Tian, pushing him straight to number 1 on the leaderboard. Hao knows that now everyone will come after him, so instead of wasting time fighting small teams, he decides to end everything by defeating the final boss. Using his newly unlocked truth-seeking skill, he locates the boss and heads toward it with Tian. On the way, Tian notices Fang and his team rushing toward them at high speed, but Hao doesn't panic at all because he already party has a solid plan. Hao is intentionally leading all of them toward the boss location, and once they get close, he activates camouflage mode with Tian and hides between the trees so the monster can damage Fang's party first. When Fang and his team arrive, he is confused to see that Hao is nowhere around, but that quickly becomes the smallest of his problems because a level 20 tree boss suddenly appears in front of them. The rest of the party gets scared, but Fang refuses to back down and attacks the monster directly. He is easily pushed back, yet he still orders his team to support him with fire magic while others heal him from a distance. Their strategy starts working, and the monster's health slowly begins to drop. Hao watches from hiding and feels impressed, but he also knows a monster of that level won't fall so easily. And exactly as expected, the boss activates its second phase, making its body even tougher while also summoning smaller versions of itself that attack the team from every side. The situation turns so bad that some students try to run in fear, even while Fang shouts at them to stay in formation. Tian sees all this and realizes that if Hao doesn't help, these people are definitely going to die. That is when Hao finally makes his grand entrance and wipes out all the boss's minions in one move. Some students no longer want to fight, so they immediately teleport out of the dungeon. Fang finally understands that he has fallen into Hao's trap, and in anger, he orders his remaining team to kill Hao so they can take all his points and get revenge for the game he played with them. Hao is ready to fight all of them, but the final boss is still alive, and before anyone can react, the monster grabs almost everyone with its roots. Only Hao stays alert enough to dodge with Tian. Hao notices that the boss has entered its final form, and Fang clearly has no plan to become fertilizer for that tree. So he gathers his courage, cuts himself free, and instead of running away, charges toward the monster again. But then he collapses because of a green mist, which he quickly identifies as poison. Fang immediately tells his team to cover their mouths and activates a skill to reduce the poison's effect on himself. Luckily for everyone, Hao is there. He uses his power to clear the poisonous mist and tells the others that if they don't want to die, they should teleport out right now. In the end, only Hao, Fang, and Tian remain, and it becomes obvious that Hao is the only one who can truly defeat the boss. The monster throws its full strength at him, but not a single attack manages to touch him. Hao dodges every move with ease, then destroys the monster completely with one powerful finishing blow. As soon as the task is completed, a portal opens for them to return. Hao is surprised when an announcement says only 3 people, including him, have survived until the end, because he thought everyone had already escaped after his warning. At that moment, Fang walks up and confronts him, asking why he pretended to be weak when he was actually this strong. Fang can't accept the truth and attacks Hao in anger, but Hao blocks him easily and forces him to teleport out. Then a green crystal drops from the monster, and Hao picks it up before giving it to Tian because he feels she can use it better than him. Tian is about to thank him when the ground starts shaking and the portal begins closing rapidly. In panic, Tian slips and falls, leaving them with even less time to escape. Hao has no other option, so he throws her hard into the portal. Luckily, he also has a portal scroll, and by using it, he saves himself too. But when Hao returns to the school, he is shocked because the entire place looks like a battlefield. Destruction is everywhere. He instantly enters stealth mode and hides when he senses 2 guards approaching. At first, he doesn't know who they are, but the system helps him identify them as members of the Black Tiger Mercenary group, enemies of Kairo's family. Their leader used to live inside the safe zone, but after he started killing innocent people for no reason, he was thrown out. Now these mercenaries have kidnapped several students and even taken Kairo hostage. Tian is also one of the people they captured. Tian is taken to their captain, a disgusting creep who is about to do something filthy to her, but she shows courage and bites his hand. This makes him furious, and he slaps her so hard that she falls to the ground. He doesn't stop there. He kicks her and keeps slapping her again and again. Fang is tied up nearby, but he can't bear watching it anymore. Filled with rage, he stands up and rushes toward that man, using all his strength to push the creep away from Tian. But the man is level 13, so he quickly gets back up and punches Fang hard, sending him backward. Then he pulls out his gun and points it at Fang. Fang realizes this might be the end for him. Suddenly, the man feels a sharp pain in his back, and it is revealed that Hao has arrived and stabbed the Spider Fang weapon into him. In the same moment, Hao easily takes down the other guards around them. After that, Hao frees Fang when Tian tells him that Fang saved her life. Hao then gives Fang the same weapon and encourages him to finish that creep himself. Hao clearly says that if Fang doesn't kill him today, this man will definitely come back later and kill him instead. Fang doesn't hesitate for even a second and kills the man directly. As soon as he does, his level jumps from 6 to 10. Fang comes back to Hao to return the weapon, but Hao tells him to keep it. Seeing this behavior, the former bully becomes deeply grateful and decides that from now on, he will stay as Hao's underling and ally. Tian feels a little uneasy about this, but Hao has no problem with it. Still, he tells Fang to prove his loyalty first by protecting the remaining students. Hao then decides to rescue Kairo alone. Tian gets worried and wants Fang to go with him, but Hao refuses help from both of them and says with full confidence that he knows what he is doing. Without wasting even a second, Hao heads out, instantly finishes one guard outside, then grabs another at knife point and asks where Carmo is being held. Before Hao can get an answer, a level 28 deputy commander suddenly appears and rams into him with full force, knocking him straight to the ground. The deputy commander moves in to finish him immediately, but Hao dodges his bullet, and the moment the deputy sees that, he realizes this boy is not normal. So he quickly calls reinforcements, ordering everyone to help him eliminate this unwanted guest. All of them open fire on Hao together, but Hao keeps dodging every single shot with ease. He uses his normal fire attack, yet this time it has no effect at all. Then he closes the distance and slashes the man, but the deputy's armor is so strong that even Hao's blade cannot damage it. The man fires powerful beams from his chest, nearly hitting Hao, and for the first time, it actually feels like Hao has found a seriously strong opponent. The deputy summons even more laser beams, and Hao struggles while blocking them, quickly understanding that if he doesn't find a solution soon, he will definitely be roasted. So he asks the system for help, and the system suggests upgrading his link level. Hao has no other option, so he accepts the suggestion. Right then, Hao unlocks a new defense ability, allowing him to tank all the incoming shots easily. At first, it looks like the deputy commander has already won, but then one of his soldiers tells him that Hao is still alive. Hearing this, the deputy loses his temper and orders everyone to open fire and destroy this obstacle. But Hao dodges every bullet again, eliminates all the weaker soldiers first, then uses his new explosion technique to attack the deputy. At first, nothing special seems to happen, but slowly, his high-tech suit begins melting from the intense heat like chocolate. Within seconds, the man is left standing in nothing but his underwear. After that, Hao beats him badly with a few punches and finally sends him crashing into a tree with a powerful kick. The deputy starts begging for his life and even offers Hao a treasure key. When Hao uses the key to open the treasure, he finds many valuable items inside. Hao asks the system to convert almost all the items into experience points because he knows he needs to level up before fighting the enemies at Carmo's location. The system then gives Hao two options: either unlock more support skills or unlock a new account that can give him completely new and powerful abilities. Here, we learn that the system works by giving Hao access to multiple themed accounts. The first account he unlocked was the Crimson Emperor account, which gave him all his fire powers along with a special sword. When Hao sees that unlocking a new account can boost his power even further, he chooses to unlock another one. This time, he receives the Crazy Moss account, which belongs to a genius but mad scientist from another dimension, someone so powerful that he destroyed his own world. Hao expects that activating this account will give him some insane new power, but instead, only an AI robot gets summoned, which makes him disappointed at first. However, the robot, which is one of Moss's creations, begins explaining its master's abilities. It tells Hao that Moss was not only an expert in engineering and blacksmithing, but also a master of alchemy, enchanting, and gemology. The robot also explains that Hao now has the ability to decompose any object and use those same materials to create mechanical items. To demonstrate, Hao gives the robot a bomb and spider silk from the dungeon, and the robot combines them into a sticky bomb. Seeing this, Hao finally accepts that he has gained an amazing power. He immediately places all the items he has collected in front of the robot so it can create new weapons from them. After that, Hao leaves the system world and begins his rescue mission. He already knows Carmo is being held captive inside the school gym. When he arrives there, he sees that both of Carmo's bodyguards are frozen like stone, as if they have been petrified. He hears a man's voice nearby, so he quietly moves closer to understand the situation. The leader of the entire operation is level 38 and looks extremely dangerous. Hao overhears the man explaining that he used a special one-time technique called Medusa's Eye to freeze the bodyguards in place, and he also says there is only one way to return them to normal: Medusa's tears. Hearing this, Hao remembers that he collected that item from the treasure box he got from the Iron Man-like deputy commander. He secretly moves toward the guards and pours Medusa's tears on both of them to free them, but unfortunately, nothing happens. At that moment, the commander is discussing a business deal with Carmo. He promises that their leader will make sure Carmo becomes the next head of Hanmo Group in the future, but in return, they only want one thing: the safe zone deployment map. Carmo is not scared at all and directly refuses. She is mentally prepared to die if she has to, but at the very last moment, Hao enters and saves her just as the man is about to break her protective barrier. Carmo offers Hao a deal, saying that if he can keep her safe without a single scratch, she will give him 1 million plus an extra 10 million. Hao instantly attacks and uses a powerful fire move to create a chance for both of them to escape, but the attack does nothing to the commander. He avoids it easily and kicks Hao away with brutal force. force. Still, Hao refuses to give up. He returns with his shield and sword, protecting Karmo while directly clashing with the soldier. A fierce weapon fight begins between them, but Hao quickly understands that he cannot properly stand against an enemy of this level. With just one attack, the commander drains almost 20% of Hao's health and sends him flying again. Seeing this, Karamo realizes Hao has almost no chance, so she tells him to run and save his life. Hao refuses because he needs this money to save his father, so he decides that there are only two paths left now: survive or die here. He uses his sticky bomb, hoping it will cause major damage. The bomb manages to hold the commander for a short time and lowers a little of his health, but the man breaks free easily. He attacks Hao again, and Hao blocks with his shield, but the force is so heavy that he almost collapses anyway. That is when Hao understands the only way to win this fight is not through raw strength but through his brain. Luckily, at that exact time, the robot finishes a new weapon, and Hao summons it without wasting a second. It is a Gatling gun, and he uses it to distract the commander. Taking advantage of that distraction, Hao attacks from behind with the one-hit kill dagger. But the commander is not someone who goes down so easily. He turns around and strikes Hao with another terrifying blow that nearly wipes out his entire health. Furious, the leader says he had to waste one of his special abilities just to survive this useless fight, because if he had not used it, he would have died right there. Because of that special skill, his health recovers again, but only to a little below half. Then the commander uses a special serum to end the fight, transforming into a werewolf-like monster. Seeing this, Hao feels like there is no chance left for him, and for a moment it really looks like game over. But at the final second, Karmo's two bodyguards return. Both of them are level 40, and they stop the monster-like commander with their spiritual fish. Hao is almost standing at death's door, so Karmo immediately orders one of them to heal him. Hao recovers right away, and the commander is dragged in front of him so he can be finished. Hao doesn't hesitate for even a second. He doesn't blink, doesn't speak, and simply kills the man with his sword once and for all. Before dying, the commander threatens them, saying his death means everyone's end. Karmo is so impressed by everything Hao has done that she offers him a place in her group, but Hao refuses and clearly says he only wants money. Karmo tries to change his mind and tells him that if he joins, he will get the best equipment. Karmo keeps trying to tempt Hao by saying that if he joins her group, he will get unlimited resources, top-level support, and even the chance to move his whole family into the Upper 3 District, the safest place where monsters can never threaten them. Hao still doesn't agree right away, but he does accept a black card from her, and because of that card, his father is instantly moved into a VIP hospital room. They don't have to pay a single coin for treatment because the hospital itself belongs to Hanmo Group. The head doctor personally comes to check on his father and even apologizes for the bad behavior down. Hao can't do anything and is forced to watch in silence as his sister's life starts slipping away right in front of him.